Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I am passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you were meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello everyone, welcome back to Inspire and Move. I am your host, Ali Aruda, and I am joined with a very special guest, Matt Aruda, everyone.
Right. I feel it'd be weird if I was like, it's Matt Aruda. That kind of has to, you have to finish that sentence.
Well, you're a show regular now, so
yeah, it's not really a guest. It's kind of like I don't know, what would I be like?
We should work on like a different intro.
With a song?
Maybe.
Okay.
We do love a good sing song. That'd be nice.
We were just singing prior to jumping on.
Yeah, we were.
Blink 182.
Love that punk rock side. Guys, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for being here. Always so grateful to have you along, and always grateful to have you here, babe.
Thanks.
Thank you. Today we are diving in. We actually were going through like a few topic ideas, and today we actually have settled on finding the special in ordinary things.
Nice. Small things.
Are you going to sing? Blink 182. Blink 182 vibes?
Work sucks.
I know.
There you go.
She left me roses. There we go. Okay.
That's enough.
You didn't tune in to listen to that. That's what Spotify and Apple Music is for.
That's a little gift with purchase right there.
Yeah.
First hit's free.
So finding the magic and the special in ordinary things. We love that. And I feel like that's something that you and I have really kind of grown into over the last couple of years. And actually, maybe a lot of you listening, maybe this is your MO. Maybe this is something that resonates for you guys as well. But it could also be something that over, the last few years, we don't need to go into the deep darkness of what those last few years equated to. But I think many of us even probably appreciated small things. I don't know if mundane is necessarily the route I want to go from a vocabulary standpoint, but just really finding the joy in simple things like a games night at home, in your cozies, or whatever it may be. But I think you and I have also really taken that in terms of our little family with the dogs and field trips that we like to do that are not far from our house. They're not expensive, but yet we have found ways to make them really joyful.
Yeah. And I want to be careful of not just rhyming off a list of all of the small things. I'm just going to keep hearing Blink 182 every time I say this, of all of the things that might not be needle movers per se in the scheme of a year. But when we're finished with our day, at the end of a day where we have incorporated these things, they've always filled our cup. Mm-hmm. And we've looked back and we've said, this was a good day. And it's typically not associated with a day that is, lined up with expensive materialistic components of that day. It's usually really well time spent with one another or family members, our dogs, and it's mostly experiential type things. But again, things that I think when push comes to shove, don't require a lot of time, don't require much, if any, money at all. It's really just the ability to spend the good time with other people, or in a lot of cases, our dogs, that make us feel really good, that really fill our cup, that really fill our heart.
I think you could actually even connect this topic of discussion that we're having with the love languages, the 5 love languages. And you and I share quality time.
Yeah. As
one. I'm also a words of affirmation girl. Very, very much love those. But quality time. You look great
today.
Thanks. Not compliments.
Oh.
But it's my sparkle
You're
top.
doing great work here today.
Okay. We can circle back on those
Awesome.
another time. But for anyone that really resonates with that quality time love language, this is probably a really great topic for you of, meshing your love language of quality time with your partner, best friends. Maybe it's a colleague that you really get along well with, family member, but also how you are going to enjoy that quality time and kind of what we're talking about. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we're going on a shopping spree. We're going to buy a new car today. It could honestly just be like, we're going to go to this really cute coffee shop that's also an art gallery, and it's going to be this wonderful special experience, and we're going to have really great conversations. Something like that. Or, we could give some examples. I know, as you said, we're not going to go list by list, but anytime you and I go out sort of like for the holidays, whether it's, going to buy our Christmas tree or picking out pumpkins, kind of those like seasonal shops, if you will, we'll often go get a warm beverage. And I feel like London fogs are often our go-to.
Yeah, London fogs, chai lattes when it gets closer to Christmas. Oh, that's good. It's already coming. Oh, for anybody who doesn't know, I am a big Christmas guy. Big, like 10 out of 10.
You're going to start seeing Christmas carols in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. December shows are something special here.
Oh, perfect.
But no. So yeah, that said, those kinds of things, you're right. It's that kind of thing where you're making it feel maybe more momentous than it would otherwise be on its own on paper. Like the idea of elevating it by doing something small because you've got intentionality behind it now. Now you're not just going to pick up a tree and like, let's make this happen. We have to get out of the house in 30 minutes and we've got, your mom coming over, or we've got this person's place we got to be at. I think you've got to make it a little bit more event-like, even though in your calendar, it's not really an event. It might look more like a chore or a thing to do. And that changes with your mindset surrounding it. Right. I think if you're looking at it as it's one more thing I have to get done on the weekend, or when the kids are down, or whatever that story might look like, then that's what it'll be, because that's what you're going into it as. But if you can reframe that as something that is a little bit more experiential, something that is a little bit more bonding time, like with whomever it is you might be doing with. I mean, honestly, you might even just be doing it with yourself, for yourself, by yourself. And even just that connection of you with you might be enough for it to kind of bring a little bit more of a momentous occasion feel around it, right?
Totally. And even as like I was single for many, many years in my earlier 20s and had our Yorkie Molly that I lived alone, and often maybe I'd go out on the weekends, maybe not, but I actually really enjoyed my evenings at home. That Molly and I would watch a movie together, we'd make popcorn, or some of my condos had bathtubs. And it's not even necessarily girls, guys listening, but for any of you that love a bath, I feel like there is a bit of a ritual when it comes to creating this beautiful bath experience. Are you going to go bath salts, bath bombs, essential oils? You're going to light candles. Are you going to have a glass of red wine, maybe a tea, and really, painting this beautiful picture of this experience where really a bath, like you're having a bath, but it's the experience that you are curating for yourself for what that bath looks like. And even same thing to Matt's point about going to buy a Christmas tree or a pumpkin, that, okay, yes, you like to decorate, check, we're going to go buy pumpkins. Okay, we're going to do that on Sunday. Great. We'll do it from this time and this time between this and this. But being able to paint this beautiful picture around an experience that you look forward to, and maybe it becomes a bit of a tradition. For us now, that we like to get London fogs when we go buy holiday decor. And it's something that we do a few times a year with different holidays, year over year. And then we, of course, have sort of our additional traditions when it comes to like decorating the tree and what that evening looks like. And those are things that for us, we have come to enjoy every year. And, I don't want to go dark and sad here, but we only have a finite amount of time here, and things can happen when you least expect it. And unfortunately, we have experienced some of those losses when it comes to family members that go too soon. So, again, not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but also a bit of a realist that maybe it would be nice to create this sort of romantic approach to some of the simple things and how you really enjoy that, whether it is from a holiday standpoint, or maybe you go grocery shopping with your spouse, even though it used to be just you, but maybe you do it together now. I think taking some of those experiences and sharing them with people that you care about is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think what it kind of really just, what the root of all of this is coming at it from a place of gratitude. Mm-hmm. I think if you can be grateful for having the time and having the ability and having, in a lot of cases, somebody that wants to do it with you, there's a certain sense of gratitude with that, because I think that's where the majority of this power comes from, this idea or the ability of trying to find special things or specialness out of small things, usually the best things in our life are usually shared with somebody else. It's difficult to think of like some remarkably important event in my life or in our lives individually that wouldn't have been made better if we weren't sharing it with somebody else. And it doesn't need to be a romantic partner. It could be a friend. It could be a parent, a sibling. Honest to God, it could be a pet. I know that we all have our special connections to them. Us maybe more than
Yeah.
than the average, but all that to say is, I think the ability to do that and to kind of recognize the specialness that comes out of just having pizza and a glass of wine on a Friday night because the week has been exhausting, and this feels like a real nice way to decompress and to reconnect and all the rest. I think a lot of that, the ability to create something like that and to step into knowing that that's what the plan is coming out of gratitude. The fact that you know that you really appreciate this time spent with that other person, or at the very least really appreciate how you're made to feel from this experience that others might find mundane. Reading it in your agenda might seem odd, or maybe not necessarily something that one would typically celebrate. But I think it's the mindset of gratitude and going into that experience with that gratitude that allows you to pull that feeling of having your full cup being realized.
I love that. And actually, speaking of cups, I was going to say how I think I've said this on a previous episode, how, for morning workouts, I love, actually, you and I both love, especially when we can do it together, a post workout coffee. Somehow, a post workout coffee just tastes extra good because you have trained really hard for, for us in this case, 60 minutes, or maybe you finished a class, and then you're going to go get a coffee after, and you have these incredible endorphins because you've pushed and moved heavy weight. Maybe you broke a nice sweat. You feel stronger. You definitely feel stronger, than you first did when you walked into the gym, when you finished that workout. Now you're going to get this coffee that maybe it's from your favorite coffee shop, or with your husband, your wife, your bestie, your workout buddy, that you're going to have this great conversation and connection, whether it be 5 minutes or 30 minutes. And that coffee experience is now going to be that much sweeter because you've put in all this work, and now you're going to have this connection time and a warm beverage or cold beverage of your choice, and you're going to really enjoy it. And that simple act of, doing a workout or getting a coffee have now been made better because you've pairing them together, and you're finding this joy in like routine.
Yeah, and it's just that, right? The idea of routine, even the word routine, there's nothing exciting about it. It's typically the same. It means the same thing, right? It means just coming at something with the same process over and over again. And that's not very sexy, or it's not very exciting per se. But again, if your mindset could be changed slightly in recognizing the ability to do something like that, and doing that over and over again allows you to feel a certain sense of fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly allows you to feel like you have your coffee is on the heels of being successful at something, if that makes sense.
Love that.
Right? You don't get to the coffee until you've completed the first part. And so almost subconsciously, the coffee isn't, look, coffee's great, yes, on its own. But I think the idea of the coffee is almost stronger than the physical act of having the coffee because of what it meant for you to get to that point where you can go get the coffee. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, is the idea of creating these little mini events in your life, whether they are as a reward or whether they are because they're entrenched in some sort of a tradition, like Christmas tree shopping,
And London fogs.
or yeah. But those kinds of things are important to kind of recognize that they life is much more exciting when you can be more aware of the conscious acts that make you happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good quote.
Yeah. Read it in a
Yeah.
Hallmark
Yeah.
card earlier today.
Well, I feel like before we really put a bow on this, maybe we could give a few examples of either things that we do or people that could maybe as little takeaways that if you guys want to, try something new, you want to put a little magic in the ordinary things. These are some things that we do. And please feel free, we love sharing nuggets on this show. So here's some little nuggets. Feel free to borrow them, to steal them, to use them and enjoy them. And a few that I was even going to share was when it comes to like grocery shopping. Obviously, you need food in your fridge every week. And, you can certainly go to your go-to grocery store. Or perhaps you can find little markets that are either in your area or going to a different city or town. If you've heard about a great butcher or fish market or super cute market that has everything, and maybe you get a coffee or a tea for the road and you go with a recipe that you're going to make and try this different shopping experience that, yes, the same thing, the action is purchasing food, but the experience is trying somewhere new and going on a bit of an adventure.
Absolutely. I think that's a good idea. Kind of almost parlaying the mundane with something that you can look forward to as part and parcel of the experience. 3 weeks ago, I had to go pick up a piece of gym equipment in a
Oh, yeah.
crappy part of a town not too far away from us, like an industrial complex. I got there, it didn't look like it was open. It was raining, just crap all over the place.
So the mundane
However,
is,
so the mundane is driving 45 minutes to get a piece of equipment for a piece of equipment. Nothing sexy. However, when I looked at where this place was, I saw that there was an incredible grocery store, maybe half a kilometer away from this place. And it allowed, and I had only heard about it. I'd never been there in my whole life. My parents had talked about it for years and years, had no idea really where it was. But lo and behold, half a kilometer away from this really crappy industrial warehouse that I needed to go to. And I spent an hour and a half in this grocery store where I didn't know what I even was going in there for. Maybe some good olive oil and cheese, and came out with like $150 worth of food that honestly, had it been at many other grocery stores, would be twice that, for goodness sake, the way this place was put together. And the food was spectacular. I had the time of my life walking through this place. I love cooking, so maybe it hits me differently than others. But it's these kinds of little things that all of a sudden it became a bit more of a crap. I got to go and drive 45 minutes into a spot just to pick up a cardboard box with some foam padding, essentially. Yeah. It became a heck of a lot more than that. I was actually really looking forward to all of a sudden having to go get this piece of equipment because of what I was able to kind of line it up with.
I remember that day. You enjoyed that.
Yeah, I called you 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
That day.
One of the other points I was going to, nuggets was dog walks. Obviously, you guys probably know we have 3, and dog walks are a must for any dog owner. And so you can absolutely go. The mundane would be, dog walk route that's close to your home. But sometimes, let's call it on a weekend, on a Saturday or a Sunday, we'll pack up the car, get all their leashes, poo bags, treats, and we'll go to a neighboring city that also has a beautiful waterfront, just like our city does, and maybe try a different coffee shop, get a coffee or a tea, go along for a walk and look at homes in a different area, maybe dream. Maybe this is like, we have a city that's not far from us that have like beautiful homes along the water, multi-million-dollar homes that this could actually be a fun sort of like dream exercise. Oh my gosh, like what kind of car do you think's in that garage? Or I really love these windows. And it becomes a whole different experience, even though the action of walking our dogs is a must, but we're going to create it into a more beautiful experience.
Yeah. And I think a lot of my experience is kind of
around food.
Yes. I think a lot of the examples I'm going to give are going to be around food, to the extent of thinking about going to these little shops where the owners, or they at least know you, they recognize you. That's really nice. So now you're going grocery shopping. However, you're being made to feel special.
Yeah.
And appreciated. Right? They appreciate that you do business, and they remember you from weeks past. That's not the case at the large grocery stores. They don't know who I am, and quite frankly, I don't know who they are either, because the turnover is tremendous, I'm sure, at those places. But even when we are at these small places, these small grocery stores, we effectively will think of one or two small meals that we'll make. I'm thinking of brunch, for example, where we'll get very specific things for a brunch that we will make that we know is going to be significantly better because the quality of these products are so much better. And it's one thing that then leads to another thing where we can then enjoy another experience outside of the grocery experience that wouldn't have happened if we didn't do the grocery experience. So it kind of becomes this trickle down effect of intentionally putting yourself in these places that you can then also be able to enjoy other things from afterwards.
Totally. I was going to even say like the Italy experience. If anyone's ever been to Italy, I remember the first time we went and someone told us that we could get a glass of wine while we shop. I was like, pardon me. I thought you just said I could get a glass of wine while I shop for groceries. Oh, yes, you can. And it's a wonderful experience. And there are even some places now that we go to, like a small fish market, that you can get a glass of wine and, stay and have some oysters, or just enjoy a glass of wine while you buy fish to take home for the week. And that was actually a really lovely parlay into my last sort of nugget suggestion, if you will, is wineries. If you are a wine lover, wine consumer, you need wine to go as a hostess gift somewhere, you could easily go to your local liquor store and buy a bottle of wine. Or perhaps, so that would be your mundane, you were going to purchase wine for a dinner party, gift, whatever it may be, but you could turn it into an experience by finding a local winery and going and enjoying a glass of wine or a tasting flight of a few, so that you can experience a few wines that this local winery has and then purchase from the winery, so that now you're supporting local, you're getting an experience, you're being able to try before you buy. Maybe it's, a dog-friendly winery. We love those. And you're supporting a smaller business versus, a larger conglomerate that might be in California, wherever it may be. But just taking that sort of action of purchasing the wine that you need for X, Y, or Z experience, and then having this like event instead, this date day, but time with your bestie, your partner, whatever it may be, and really enjoying that. So those are a few little takeaways that, Matt really loves, the ones that revolve around food.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my life revolves around food, quite frankly. That's no surprise. You've known me now for 10 plus years, and so much of it's not long after we wake up where I typically bring up
what's for dinner.
For dinner. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, that was a little short and sweet one. And if those nuggets resonated, my DMs are always open. If you have something that you love to do in terms of like, this is mundane, but this is how I make it special, come at me. I would love to know. We were always looking at how we can make sort of those basic everyday or weekly experiences and routines into something that's more special.
Definitely.
Thank you so much babe, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure having you.
Pleasure's mine.
I'm so grateful
Truly.
for you. And I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening and for all of your love and support.
Have a good day.
See you soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you took 30 seconds and shared this on social media, send it to a friend, or leave a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I am so grateful to have you part of mine.